everyone, Olga Show back on air with you. We are live on air. You can still call us 408-912-5265 or let us discuss freely what we have to say, and we do have to say a lot because we're still under influence consumers electronics show, which was just finished up last night in Las Vegas. And you also can watch us on Ustream.tv. Later we're gonna post that on YouTube, so our show will be available on YouTube. Ustream.tv, just search Olga Show. And I know that we have lots of people who are watching that, not only in America, but in about 40 countries so far.
Wow.
At least I receive emails, and I know it was 39, but lately we found out that Israel also watching us, and that's 40 countries. Maybe more. In the week, I don't know what's happened in the week because I was away from my email. So sorry if I didn't reply to you. I'm gonna do it over Sunday and Monday. We have a special guest, David Benjamin. He is a writer and a journalist. So he is here with his new book, Three's a Crowd. Noir comedy.
Yes.
Noir comedy.
Yes.
So tell me about a little bit yourself.
Well, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin called Tomah. And in fact, the first book that was one of my books that's still available, by the way, as an ebook from Random House, was called The Life and Times of the Last Kid Picked. It was about growing up in Wisconsin, playing games in the 50s and early 60s before parents horned in on kids' games and ruined them. So this was the book is about a period of what I call freelance childhood.
Well, my memories of about Wisconsin, they put head cheese on your head, and it's like winter time, snowing, and they will be watching football, and it will be like January, and they will be cheering people, football players, right there in the field while it will be snowing. As
I appreciate you bringing that up because my next book out after Three's a Crowd is called A Sunday Kind of Love. And it's about a love triangle in which the characters are an unmarried woman, a married man, and the third point of the triangle is the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
It takes place in Wisconsin. It's about the how people are torn between human relationships and the sports that they love. And how all those things tend to mingle together into a kind of a human torture, but also joy, because people get tremendous joy from, as you know, from sports.
oh yeah, I saw that loud and clear. I were freezing, but with the cheering crowd, I not only survived, I felt very motivated to go forward in my life for whatever happens, okay?
So I encourage everybody out there to buy Three's a Crowd, but also sometime in the spring, a book called A Sunday Kind of Love will be out from a publisher called Event Horizon Press.
All right.
With my name on it, I hope. Unless my publisher steals it from me.
Right. And those who love football, they should be definitely. Green Bay Packers.
Especially Packers fan guys.
So if I will see you like in the crowd, with the books.
I don't have tickets to the Packers. It takes 40 years to get tickets to the Packers.
Oh really? So I was that privileged? My God. Yeah, no wonder.
So I have a question. Do the Packers win or does the women win?
Oh, did the Packers or the woman win? Oh, it's more complicated than that. And
this is triangle.
And
not for 60 years old to know.
My money's on the Packers on this one.
Actually, the thing I should emphasize is that this isn't really for particular fans of a particular team. It's really about people's obsession with sports and how it tends to affect their relationships and sometimes warp their relationships, but also sometimes enriches their relationships. So it's really more than just about the sport. In fact, I try to emphasize to people that it's a book that women would like to read about sports more so than men.
All right, so I'm gonna find out after you publish your book.
I'll make sure you get a copy.
So please come back to our show again. I notice your tie. This is orange tie with, for those who doesn't see it or listening to us, I can describe. Those who can see us on the Ustream and later on YouTube, please describe this because I'm amazed about ties. Why I went one time, and that was enough for me, to a men's tie store where you buy different ties. And I said, I'm out of here. I thought that's difficult to pick up your own clothes. This is like, wow.
Even.
This is just like one form, so many different colors, so many different designs. I said, I cannot choose any. They're all so gorgeous. So please let me know.
I found this I saw this in a window in Prague, Czechoslovakia.
All right, some
and-
Europe connection here.
Yes, so Joko and I went in and we bought it.
Okay,
It's
so
been-
it's like faces. It's kind of art design here.
It's one of my favorites. Yes.
All right. So now coming back to very big magazine I received in my house and also business, and then I was wondering EE Times.
Yeah.
And then I would never think that I would see live editors.
Okay.
Journalists.
They exist. They still exist.
They exist
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they write, and I appreciate all the work you do going
Thank
to
you.
the shows, and you have to write.
Yeah.
Not just go through the show, have fun. You have to
That's right.
sit and write
Oh,
all
yes.
night after that, and then morning starts. You don't even know it's 24/7 deal.
That's right.
So tell me how you end up at EE Times.
Okay, I started out as actually I was born and raised and educated in Japan, so I started out working as a public relations person for a company called JVC, and I worked there for a
Yeah,
while.
we know that company. I use that.
Oh,
Those tapes I
okay.
use in the cars.
All right.
Those tapes
Yes,
did
yes,
not
yes,
stuck in my car.
Ah.
Some did.
Okay. So I was there at the height of the launch of VHS. That was a video home recording system,
Yes.
and later
Still
on,
have those.
yeah. Well, then later on, I was hired to work as a Tokyo correspondent for E Times, and since then, I was in Tokyo for 2 years. I was in Silicon Valley for 9 years. We moved to Paris for 5 years. And we came back to New York. Now we live in Madison. So this job that I have really, allowed me to travel everywhere, and also allowed me to live in so many different countries. Yeah,
So because you're a journalist, you can write pretty much anywhere, right?
exactly. Portable, modular, pluggable, I guess.
Pluggable, connectable, curved.
Yeah. Card, yeah.
With a very, very thin bezel.
Yeah.
With a very high resolution
Yeah.
and high speed of the internet. So now you write a lot, but why about electronics? I mean, ladies in the electronics industry, it's like
Well,
hard to
yeah,
find.
Because of my first job at JVC, I happened to learn a lot about electronics, and I happened to learn a lot about consumer electronics, and I think that really prepared me well to become a journalist covering this particular industry. But I don't think I've learned as much until I moved to Silicon Valley. It was a great experience. Yeah.
Right. It's like,
She is an incredibly quick study, by the way.
Well, actually, I didn't. I recently got a new beat. Automotive became my beat since last July. So that's why this year's consumer electronics was particularly interesting to me, because everything that I learned about mobile phone now perfectly prepared me for this new beat. That was the way that I felt. I was talking to during the break that some of the people here that I had a story this past week, with a headline saying, "Take a smartphone, wrap a car around it," and that was the quote from Elon Musk, who founded Tesla. And I
Okay.
think that's the very interesting idea that became very hot at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. I don't know how much of that is a hype, and things may calm down a little bit, but I must say that was the biggest new thing that I think everybody saw at the show. You know, car turning into smartphone, or smartphone turning into car. I mean, that was the concept that.
Sounds like flying carpet to me, but this would be flying smartphone. Okay, can you describe a little
Driving-
bit more?
Well, what's happening is that actually all the technology, software, platform battles that we had seen in mobile phone is coming to cars. Because car companies 20 years ago, the only differentiation was knobs and, you know, dials, and everything was so mechanical. Now the latest things that they can differentiate from one car to another is really the infotainment system inside the car. So that really heated up. I mean, whether it makes sense to drivers or not, let's set that aside. But car companies think that's how they can make money.
So now imagine you will be driving, piloted, autopiloted or not, but you will be fully entertained in the car. Or you can say your significant other, why you just go to the car a little bit, or no, just sit at home, I go to the car.
Yeah, right.
I will be
Another car, another room,
entertained
yeah.
fully in the car, okay? Should we trademark that too, by
Well,
Olga Show?
when Joko and I were living in Japan, one of the interesting sociological features of Sunday in Japan is that fathers, salarymen, you know, businessmen who are home on the week, they work on Saturdays. They come home on Sunday, and then they have to spend the day with the children and the wife. And so, rather than do that, they go out and they get into first they wash their car, and then they drive it 2 blocks, and then they park. And they listen to the radio, and they read, and they smoke
Yeah.
cigarettes.
The same concept, though.
Right.
So the car in Japan on Sunday has been an entertainment center for decades.
All right, so that's coming closer, but this would be more like 4K probably display someday soon.
Curved 4K displays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
curved, and you can touch, you know, play with that phone, massage your cheeks, wherever.
I think we might be coming up with a few technologies right on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm telling you, there's a lot to work
3-dimensional women coming out of the screen.
And telling you where to go,
with.
right?
Yeah, where to go? No, they will be far more behaved, I guess, than real women. I don't know, or man.
Yeah.
Why it's not a man, 3D man? I wouldn't
If you're
say.
sitting, if you're a lonely salaryman sitting in your car on a Sunday, you don't want a man coming out of the screen.
But why they don't think of the woman? What if the woman sitting in the car and waiting for 3D man?
The woman has to take care of the kids
Ah, okay, got that. All right.
and cook supper.
Yes, so it's
right.
kind of different there.
We're talking about Japan here.
Yeah.
So far advanced, yes. Now with CES, what else do you think you would like to talk about? Like
Well, I
what
think,
were-
you know, I think a lot of people, this has been discussed by many websites and, you know, the press in general, but Wearable was definitely one of the things that was very hot this year. And Wearable, what I mean is that everything from smartwatches to, you know, sort of portable EKG, that it's sort of like, you know, to me what's very interesting is that what used to be a clinical device is now being pitched as home health care product as a wearable, you know. And I think part of the reason is that none of the clinical device companies wants to miss the window of opportunity to participate in the wearable trend, but and yet that they can't put, you know, if they have to go through the FDA approval process, it will take too long. They're afraid that they're going to miss the window of opportunity. So that's part of the reason they're pitching it as a whole home health care product.
Well, it's I can see pluses and minuses. So, do you want to reveal your heart rate on everyday basis to insurance companies because they got that connection through the internet somehow and found out that somewhere
You have a
misbeat there. Precondition some sort, yeah. I don't know. So you have to be careful
No,
there.
But I mean, on the other hand, it also kind of lets you know if there's anything wrong with your heartbeat at that point, because wouldn't that be kind of like, it would be
That's
more
good.
reassuring to know, like, you know, that something isn't wrong with your heart when you wake up every day and look at it. Nope, my heart's still fine. Good to go for another day.
have to go for another day.
Yeah, my heart is not broken. I can go working. Okay, back to
Well,
work.
one of the interesting things is I think I realize that people these days are so obsessed about their health, right? And there are so many sleep monitoring devices, whether it's sort of a special mat underneath the soft blanket type of mat that you can put underneath your mattress, and there's a bedside device and that records your breathing pattern while you sleep or your heart rate. It records everything.
Kind of a hypochondriac heating pad.
It is, and so the next day, all the information is on your smartphone so that you can see the pattern. And I was asking the inventor, what do you do with the pattern then? And he said, maybe you can point out to your neighbors that the neighbor downstairs made a noise so that he couldn't sleep.
Or you can be like, oh, my breathing heart rate is much better than yours, guys. I have the best breathing heart rate in the entire building.
So I had a device called Lark, and so it did monitor my sleep patterns, but at the same time it would wake me up with vibration as opposed to sound. And it was such a much more pleasant way of waking up. So, but then at some point, I think I used it for like a year, and then the battery died, and we had to replace it.
Oh, no.
Those batteries,
Yeah.
always burning things.
All right. What else do you think you found so sophisticated for us to share with our viewers?
Speaking of batteries, I think one of the things we saw was, you probably have heard of Internet of Things. Internet of Things is that all these devices you have at home or you will have at home will be somehow connected to the cloud, so that data that this little device, or whether it's a toaster or a smartphone, whatever this wearable devices, these devices collect certain data and put it up on the cloud, and the cloud will do the processing and send the messages back to you. For example, that you have a fire detector, smoke detector,
Yes.
smoke detector, and usually when the battery gets low, that started to make this really, weird, annoying sound, right?
High
Beep.
pitching, I must say.
And it always happens like in the middle of the night, right?
Right.
What if the smoke detector is smart enough and sends you a text message rather than beeping sound, say that your battery, my battery is your smoke detector's battery is getting low. That's sort of like one of the useful that's one of the most useful effective way of pitching IoT, Internet of Things, at least to me.
So that was the big pitch of Cisco. So I went to the keynote and I dropped a huge number, $19 trillion, and that's what they envision to be the value of this Internet of Things.
Right.
And so they're in the intersection of how all of these devices gets connected. They even had the mayor of Barcelona, Spain,
Right.
to come and talk about how they are like building a smart city and how that has been a big success.
Right, like every street lamp will be connected to the internet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
$19 trillion.
Yeah, that's
This is a good example of listening to promises at CES and not believing them entirely.
I think 19 trillion is more than the U.S. GDP.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more than the world GDP.
Yeah, 19 trillion's big.
Yeah.
So, but on another hand, on positive side, we can all jump into it
Yeah.
and make, a couple of trillion. I'm okay with that.
I don't need all 19.
I can even do a couple of trillions in rubles, okay? I can accept that. I can do in rupees, wherever that
Yeah, I think a couple trillion of basically any currency is making you pretty rich.
So another big trend I saw, and they had a big, what's it called, a consortium of a lot of companies coming together under one technology to introduce what we call wireless charging. So I tried it myself. They have this tiny device you just plug into your phone, and then you have a custom pad that allows you to charge your phone.
Right.
So they're coming out with technology now which is as efficient as wired plug. And so I also tried out something that I have on a car. So you can actually, as you get into your car, you just put your phone at the
Right.
center there, and then it starts charging. And so that, I think that's going to be huge in terms of convenience for the consumers going forward.
But there are currently two different technologies to do this. So there's that's sort of a little bit of a problem,
Right.
because one, they don't talk to each other, right?
It's called a standards war, and these have been going all the way back to Beta and VHS.
And see what's happened after that. No more VHS. I still have it at home. Maybe it's worth more money than I bought it for, or worth
Well,
nothing.
as long as the medium was tape, VHS beat Beta, but we've moved off now.
Move on to DVD.
Moved on to
and
DVD.
DVD and then
Yeah.
DVD got
And
taken over by Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And pretty soon everything's going to be wireless, and there's going to be no
physical.
physical medium at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
streamed.
Yeah, like the PlayStation Now thing, you no longer need to buy discs to play games. They'll just you can actually just play games on their server, and they'll process it for you, and you can play like Call of
There you
Duty
go.
on your cell phone with like super good graphics.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope they wouldn't lose your data. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah,
That's-
you have to restart the game every couple days. That would be painful.
Yeah.
And you would be on the level 1, not 12 if you have been. See,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that. And can you sue the company and go after the company, and they will tell you, well, you should have bought a freemium package.
Premium package, right. They usually tear
Premium,
down
or premium,
Right.
still it's gonna cost you, okay?
Yeah.
Otherwise, stay on the level 1, 2, 3, and that's good enough. So that's
Speaking of the Internet of Things, I'm the skeptic who goes to CES every year, and I don't believe most of the things that I hear there, and I'm dubious about technology, although I use a lot of it too. But the dark side of the Internet of Things is the Terminator movies.
Yes.
yes.
Yes. This is I'm guessing this is a serious concern somewhere within my lifetime.
Yeah.
We have to develop the resistance now, guys.
Then
Be concerned about your robots.
Then I will be coming to your show asking for protection. Because those droids, we saw droids like they were dancing for the music,
Right.
they fly. And did you see that part yet?
Oh, the Audi show, yes, the
Yeah.
black light show. That's the
Yeah.
1960s technology, by the way.
Okay.
First, the robots can dance better than you. Then they can outfight you.
Yeah.
Then they will rule you.
Yep.
There's a movie out now, it's called Her. Talks about this guy who has a relationship with artificial intelligence operating system. And at some point, they disappear. So it's like, if you think
Who
of
disappeared? Her or
the operating system.
operator
Oh.
system?
So it's interesting how, like, if robots evolve to the point where they realize that there's a dimension better than here, and then they just go there instead of here.
Like, forget those humans.
Yeah,
we
no,
can have,
forget
like,
humans. I think
Exactly.
there's like a Martians right over there who I think are cooler. So we're just gonna
Okay.
go right over there.
I think she probably couldn't trust that man, in our life, so she kind of went to another dimension. That's what's happened. I didn't see the movie.
He
Okay?
might be cheating on her with a different operating system.
or real woman. I don't know.
No, but what we're talking about here is this is the writer in me coming out, but the one of the great themes in science fiction, going all the way back to Blade Runner, Philip K. Dick's book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the original book for Blade Runner, and that was also a concern about robots becoming so intelligent that they want to be human, and so they have to be destroyed.
Right.
And they fight that destruction. The same theme is in 2001: A Space Odyssey, where Hal the computer disagrees with the men running the spaceship, and tries to take over the spaceship. Actually, does take over the spaceship. So this is we talk about the Internet of Things and the advance of artificial intelligence, but we also have an instinctive fear of technology becoming too powerful.
So we're like looking for more. Talking about space, Star Wars. I don't know, in Tech Museum right now in San Jose, I will be doing show with them in upcoming Saturdays, and also we will do video production for TV. Star Wars, did you able to get there? I know you have short stay in California.
We haven't, no.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
strongly
It's
recommend
good?
it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
very good, and I will be going there on Monday to prepare the show.
All right.
Would be less crowded than on Sunday, but that show and would be probably interesting to see. And for you as a writer,
Hmm.
you grew up with that. I'm not, so I will be like totally into it.
Well, actually, my kids grew up with that. I'm older than I look.
By the way, you look like Santa Claus.
Ah, jeez.
I've been told that. When people say that, it's time for me to trim my beard.
But then on the other hand, not everybody would be called Santa Claus, because you have to have a good spirit inside and give good energy out, because you cannot ask the with negative energy person, even looking maybe like Santa Claus, but call him. Yeah, that's it is. But guess what? It's a Russian Happy New Year coming on 13th to 14th. So I was looking for Santa Claus, and just this idea came to me right now. Okay. We will have a commercial break, and we will get back to you when my guest is going to be learning Russian language. Yes. Do you think I learn English for no reason at all? Did you think it was easy for me? But we're gonna try it together. And as Americans were very patient with me to teaching me English, I will help you to teach some good Russian words. Help you just in case you go to Russia or meet some Russian people. How about
All
that?
right.
Okay, sounds
Спасибо.
good. Спасибо. See, you already know. You already prepared. Must be some applications you used on your smartphone. I bet that's what's happened. But we are coming back. For those who are watching us on Ustream, stay with us. We're gonna be back in few seconds. Olga Show, from you to you. We support technology, culture, and people.